So today we're joined by three teams working on different parts of the user acquisition stack. And we'll explore how performance actually breaks across those layers. So before we dive in, guys, could you just introduce yourselves in a couple of sentences? I don't know, Christian, maybe you want to start chronologically.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that, Tadas. So my name is Christian. I am the Chief Commercial Officer in ContentJet. ContentJet is a performance-focused UGC agency, mostly focused on apps. So we do a lot of work with mobile apps, and we're focused on finding performance with the use of the best creatives possible. I have a very app-heavy background myself. I used to be a TikTok managing the apps team here in Madrid, and before that, I spent some time in the Google App Dev team. So I have been working with apps for the past, I would say, 9 years. And really excited to be here with two amazing hosts as well. So thanks for the invite.
Nice. Seva?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Seva. I'm the CEO and founder of Plurio AI. We build AI agents that manage large-scale ad accounts, especially for consumer software and services. So Meta, Google, TikTok, and channels like that. Before that, we've been building LA Analytics, which is a marketing data platform and attribution platform. And before that, I've built a marketing agency. I've been like with 100+ employees, 15 million revenue. So I've been doing performance marketing, user acquisition for basically my whole life. And now we put all of that into our agents that can do all the work for you, basically.
Yeah, Leo?
Leonid?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Leo. I'm the lead growth product manager from professional services in FunnelFox. So our team actually deals with everything related to app growth. We also have user acquisition department, creative department. However, my team specifically focuses on the web to app funnels. So we have quite a big expertise in that field. We've tried pretty much all the possible niches. Yeah, we're building, I would say, one of the best web funnels in the industry.
All right, great. Strong panel today. I love it. All right, so teams usually assume that performance drop equals creative problem, right? But often click-through rate is stable, cost per click is stable, and yet conversion rate just dies. So today we want to show you how performance decays across the full stack, right? From creative production to performance monitoring to post-click conversion. So let's start at the beginning of the acquisition stack, creative, because none of the downstream stuff matters if you can't keep producing creatives that actually perform at scale, right? So we have ContentJet here. They work with teams that are constantly testing and shipping new creatives, so they get a pretty early view into where things break or start repeating and creating potential fatigue. So Christian, the floor is yours. Let me turn on the slides. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Yeah, and I think this panel really makes a lot of sense, right? Because we're covering pretty much the full journey from the very beginning, which is the creative, all the way to when that creative is already starting to burn out, and that's when, you know, we're repeating the same message over and over with the users. So it's all really coming together nowadays with all the algorithmic changes that are happening. And it makes a lot of sense for the three of us to be here. So I'm quite excited to be talking about this topic today. I've already introduced myself, so I'm just gonna move ahead. A little bit about ContentJet. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, we work with some of the biggest app advertisers in the world, and this is definitely a hot topic and an issue that a lot of advertisers are spending, you know, in the millions per month are facing. And it's definitely a challenge that is very exciting for us to solve. You know, we've produced over 40,000 videos last year. It was quite a year for us. We've completed almost 2,000 projects. So we're quite used to doing a big chunk of volume. And we're also very much performance focused, but we're full funnel as well, in the sense that we can cover every step of the funnel, and we're focused on generating good performance for our advertisers. We're very focused on performance and mobile apps. So this is the biggest chunk of the type of clients that we work with. And one of the things that we're mostly invested on nowadays is to really educate the markets that it's not only a volume play anymore. You cannot throw stuff at the wall and then see what sticks. The entire strategy needs to be aligned from the very beginning to the funnels that you use, to the way that you spot fatigue and iterate on the contents that you're producing. So it's not a game of just pure volume. We have to make sure that we're making the right volume, right? So that means being very diverse in the messaging that you implement in your creative strategy. You also want to be expanding as much as possible all the different angles and all the different personas that you can really target from a creative point of view, but also from a funnel point of view as well. So you're also adapting to the algorithmic changes that are happening nowadays in paid social channels, and you're taking advantage of all these changes instead of reacting, right? So we want to avoid just repeating that same topic over and over again in our messaging, and that's why we're saying that not all volume is good volume. So the way that we approach this with the brands that we typically work, it's with our own framework in which we want to do a strategic creative development. Of course, everything that has to do with casting, production, all the annoying stuff that if you want to do in-house, it's going to take a lot of time and effort. We do it on ourselves. But the most important part of our process is to really start defining an initial creative strategy from the very beginning, because that's going to help you set the foundations for how you're going to be approaching your UA strategy. And it's going to be a much more efficient way to combat fatigue and also to decrease that CPA and increase that ROAS as well. I actually have an example of how a creative strategy matrix can look like. But this is the best way that brands nowadays can really leverage a framework to map those variables. So how to cross-reference key messaging variables, including those very specific target audiences, those value propositions, and then those creative hooks to cover all angles and to have a very diverse creative strategy from the very beginning. It also helps eliminate the guesswork that has been plaguing the UA teams, for a long time. You don't want to be working with intuition. You don't want to be, just guessing what's going to work. You want to be systematically testing what is truly resonating with very specific audience across very specific funnels and journeys as well, to really maximize your ad spend and get the best results from the budgets that you're investing into marketing as well. And the result of this is you being able to find winning ads in a more consistent way, which is one of the best things that you can do as a UA within your UA strategy, is just increase that win rate percentage at the same time you're increasing the volume, because this is what's going to help you scale past the millions of dollars in spend per month, and maintain those profitability levels high as well. And obviously fatigue is going to be a key issue to be keeping an eye on from the very beginning. So yeah.
All right, great. Thank you, Christian. So can we get back to one slide before? Sorry. Before I let you go, one question. And audience, please type in your questions in the chat. We'll get to them in the Q&A session after all the presentations are done. But you kind of mentioned it about strategic planning. But Christian, are there any things, or let's say preventive measures or best practices that brands can do to plan ahead to avoid that creative fatigue, which let's be real, it's inevitable, right? So do you see brands doing anything to kind of just prepare for the creative fatigue specifically?
It's a great question. The way we see it, it's the fact that you need to have that win rate percentage keeping up with your spend. So if you want to really scale your investments and you're not really doing anything to increase the win rate percentage in parallel, you're going to have a problem here. And fatigue is actually not really a creative problem. It's actually an infrastructure problem. So you really need to build the right systems in place to help you not only do the volume that you're actually going to need to be able to scale, but also to do the systematic testing and to do the modular production systems and strategies that are going to help you plan for this before going into the actual production, right? This is also a framework that it can allow you as well to do more iterations based on what you're understanding from the performance of the campaigns, what's working and what is not. So fatigue is actually an infrastructure problem. And brands that can solve this, they're going to have a competitive advantage over everyone else.
Nice. That's I don't know if it was especially if you did this, but it's a great segue to our next speaker, actually, looking at it from the systemic kind of point of view and analyzing the entire system. So yeah, let's say once teams manage to scale creative production, right? The next hard part is knowing when performance is actually starting to drop, right? And more importantly, catching it before it becomes obvious. So Seva, let's move into the monitoring side of this. The floor is yours.
Great. Yeah, so let's focus on the optimization, scaling, and actually managing campaigns. So the moment you launched your creatives and ads, this is the time when you start looking at metrics and dashboards or running your agents, analyzing what's actually working and what's not, and making decisions about it. Basically, the idea is that you can make those decisions manually, just looking at your metrics in Meta Ads platform or in your dashboards. But it's pretty hard to make those decisions just looking like manually with people looking at these numbers. It's probably better to run algorithms that will identify what's the best moment to actually make these decisions. Should we scale this creative? Should we stop this creative? Did it start to burn out? It's just is it just intermediary metrics dropped, or like what's actually happening there? So you can do this for you have hundreds, sometimes thousands of creatives running at the same time. And when you look at a single one, you can pretty much notice like, okay, the performance is starting to drop. But you don't know, like maybe it will bounce back. What's happening there? What's the right decisions and this decision to make? So you can actually analyze what's been happening with your creatives over the last 6 months, over thousands of different creatives, and back check different algorithms. If I would stop creatives at this moment, what would happen? If I would keep it or scale it, what would happen? And that would allow you to make like a better decision or even better algorithm to make those decisions at the right moment and stop guessing. Let me actually show you this in action. Yeah, the backtest. When you test different thresholds, different criteria, and see what would happen with your performance under those conditions. Share my screen. I'll use this account as an example. It's an education company. They run campaigns on Meta. They have pretty low cost per lead. They launch 20, 30 creatives each week. And probably over 100 new ads, like reusing their creatives each week. Standard funnel from clicks to leads to bookings of their demo lesson to attendance to actual sales, and it could take like a week or two from click to sale. Yeah, and this is a prompt I gave it to do the analysis. At the moment, we're focusing on the problem, like if you launch your new creatives and you didn't get leads, what's the right moment to actually stop this creative and stop trying to reuse it or relaunch it or wait for it to start working? It made the analysis, multiple queries, and this is what we've got. So over the 6 months, there were 1,000 new creatives, 250K in ad spend, 400K in revenue. Only 5% of the creatives were winners. So they generated over 1K in revenue with positive ROI. Those winners generated 70% of revenue and 80% of value. So it's all a game of finding those winning creatives. And yeah, if you look at their performance in their first days, half of them started generating leads in the first $10 of ad spend, but some of them didn't have any leads until $50 in ad spend or even $100 in ad spend. So it creates a problem. Like, should I wait or can I kill this creative and move to the next one? Because like, if you do it too early, you would kill too many winning creatives. If you do it too late, you will overspend on your like non-performing creatives, and that's the majority of those creatives. So with it, like the agent actually backtested different thresholds. Like, what if we stop at $5, at $10, at $25, and $50? At $5, we would kill 20% of our winners. That's not good. At $50, we would kill just one winner, but that's not optimal. We can actually check what would be the lost value if we stop at this moment, and that basically gives us negative impact. Even one creative killed actually kills all the savings. So the next step is to actually analyze, okay, like if we reinvest those saved spend, what would be our value and ROI on average? So now we see positive numbers. If we reinvest those dollars of ad spend, then we get positive numbers. And actually, like the aggressive bet is to start killing creatives very early. If it didn't get leads in their first like dollars of ad spend, then the expected value is already below average. And if you relaunch it, you'll get positive numbers. But maybe that's too aggressive. So probably like in this case, I would choose this one. We're almost killing zero or almost not killing winners, but getting a nice return on saved ad spend. And from there, we can actually like improve it even better. Like, why would we look just at ad spend, where we can add CPC or CPM metrics from those like early days of those creatives, and with improved with improved rule, we could get like better metrics. Conservative would be choose this one, aggressive would be to choose this one. And I wanted to show you this as an example, what you can do with our platform, what you can do with Cloud Code or any other agents, because the key thing is just ask your agent to go do backtests and explore different strategies, and suggest you exact algorithms for specific moments. When we launch creatives and make decisions about them, when we start scaling them, when they show signs of fatigue, when it's the right time to stop it completely, when it's the right time to relaunch it. Like 5 runs to get optimal algorithms for each stage, and you're good. You just optimize all your performance campaigns by extra 10 or 20%. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show today. I know it's a bit, a lot of numbers there, a lot of metrics, but this is where things are going. If we're launching thousands of creatives and we're launching more and more of them with generative AI and so on, we'll have to move to this algorithmic management where AI agents manage your campaigns once they're launched.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Seva? Sorry.
I think no. Can get back to the two slides.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
maybe
if we just move back to yours. Yeah. So yeah, I would agree that it definitely sounds complicated, but I guess with such scale, you kind of can't really avoid it, right? So kind of like a segue question, I guess, as well. What would you say is the most common mistake that teams make when trying to build this kind of monitoring system themselves? Have you noticed any kind of tendencies there?
I think that the biggest mistake is to just go with their this holy wars between people thinking, okay, you just launched more creatives and see what sticks, or you just give them $500 to run before making any decisions because the algorithms are learning, so you need to give them that time and that money. So I think the whole question is wrong, and my suggestion is just like ask your agents to go analyze your accounts and see what would actually happen in different scenarios.
Okay. Leave it to the AI future overlords, right? To see what's right.
They're asking specific questions you asked, like not what would, not just like leave it alone and hope for the best. Ask it to explain what exactly would happen if I would act in this way.
Gotcha. All right, great. Thank you. That was really interesting. So yeah, let's move to the third part of our webinar. So Leo, let's say early signals show creative fatigue is not the issue. Then the scary question comes: where is the performance actually leaking, right? So probably post-click later on in the funnel, right?
Correct. All right. Thank you, Tadas. So first of all, I wanted to thank you, Christian and Seva, for really useful information and for diving into creative fatigue and how to detect it quickly as well. So in our growth department, we focus on constantly iterating and building different web top funnels. And that's what I want to talk to you today about. So what happens when the ad actually performs well, when your CTR is high, your CPC is low, but the CPA is still like climbing through the roof. So in FunnelFox team, we spend our days looking at actually what happens after the click quite a lot. And sometimes we call it a leaky bucket, as Tadas also mentioned, that someone is just leaking. So you've just heard how to pour the water into the bucket more efficiently. But if your bucket has holes in it, then nothing good is going to come out of it. The water, more water will just mean a bigger mess. So these days, we see quite a massive shift in the market. So 82% of world's top grossing mobile apps, they no longer rely on the App Store and they're utilizing web top funnels instead to reclaim the control over the economics. And one of the other reasons, App Store sometimes can be just like a black box. You have limited attribution, you pay 30% tax on every dollar, and you have zero control over the user until they actually install the app. So here's the trap, right? When the team launches their first funnel, they see an initial win, and then they just stop. They treat the funnel like it's a static asset. And that's sometimes where funnel burnout happens. So you can see here on the charts as well, the difference between the creative fatigue and the funnel burnout. So the funnel burnout, you can detect it when your CTR is quite stable. You can see that the ads are performing quite well over time as well. But at the same time, your conversion rate, your conversion to purchase is consistently falling as well. So that can indicate that there might be a funnel burnout. So yeah, that's how you can diagnose it. What I would also recommend is to constantly track that conversion rates and not just like specific like A/B test or something. You should always track it over time and compare it to how the creatives that led to that funnel are performing and see those trends basically. So now that we've detected that there is a funnel burnout, let's dive in what could be like the root causes for it. So one of the quite common ones is narrative collapse. So we often think that we can just like maybe match a headline to whatever was mentioned in the creative, but sometimes it's just not enough. So the real growth happens when we have the unbroken storytelling chain, right? From the ad, when the user had the spark, to the onboarding experience and the narrative of that onboarding. And of course, the offer on the paywall also should match it. I can give you an example. So right now, the weight loss apps are quite popular, and that's the niche where you see like so many narratives. For example, for males right now, the military workout is one of the trends. We see a lot of creatives about it, and then it's definitely a mistake to have let's say military workout ad, and then when you go to the funnel you see just like a weight loss plan. So even though it's kind of like, okay, it's the same thing, similar like value proposition, but that's where the storytelling can break, and then you basically like wasted your narrative that you pushed in the creative. And if you break that storytelling, you can easily lose a lot of users on that screen. So it's normal that we have quite a big drop off there. And you can see it on the screen now. The benchmark is 47.5%. But if you don't have any storytelling, you can lose easily 60 or 70% of the users before they even started the quiz, just on that landing page. So I would say that the like narrative continuity is very, very important. So now let's talk about how to break the burnout. So we use quite a few approaches to do that. The first one would be definitely treating the funnel as a very dynamic asset. So don't just leave it and forget it. It's all about iterating and finding that narrative. And the best way to do that is also to tailor it to different segments of your audience, of your users. As I mentioned, like military workout can work for one segment. Maybe for someone else, it could be something like chair yoga. So even though the product in the end of the day could be the same, right? And this is where this tailored narratives comes. And of course, never forget again about the creatives and how they work together. The other thing that we use to fight the funnel burnout is useful friction. So we can also call it gamification. things like scratch cards, maybe promo codes, where we make the user like do something besides just clicking on the quiz, like choosing the answers, but maybe scratching or sliding something. So those kind of frictions also help to boost the psychological ownership. And this way, the user feels a reward. They feel like they earned something, and it could reignite that spark that they had from the beginning from the ad, and basically push them to finish the flow and hopefully to make a purchase as well. And finally, we shouldn't be forgetting about the offer itself on the paywall. So I'm talking about the plan configuration, the pricing, and like the overall the monetization strategy that you're running there. If you've been running the same free trial for months, your audience can be just exhausted with that offer and fatigued. So definitely try something else. To help you with that, as mentioned in the State of Web 2 App report published by FunnelFox recently, more than half of Web 2 App revenue is generated without any trials, free trials or paid trials. And the highest LTV that we see today comes from subscription plans, where we use quite often the intro offers, so basically like discounted first billing period. So those kind of things can also refresh your funnel and appeal to a different segment that maybe has a higher purchasing capacity. And yeah, basically they might be just exhausted with the same like free trial, and you can offer them something new, some interesting offer with sometimes maybe something tricky, but it still could work quite well. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And just to sum up, there is a big operational shift going on with basically it's related to the algorithms, as my colleagues were mentioning just now. A lot of things are automated right now. We are not really setting any boundaries. We're giving the freedom to the algorithm sometimes to find the right audience. We do that with the creatives. We should do that with the funnels as well. So don't just launch a funnel. Treat it as dynamic asset. Always iterate. Successful companies, they run dozens, sometimes over 100 parallel funnels, and they're aligning the specific creative angles with dedicated narrative segments. So yeah, iterate, align, and then scale. And again, fun stats that the growth, 176% year-on-year growth, comes from funnel diversity as well. And that's the data from FunnelFox. So keep that in mind when building your new funnels. Yeah, I think that's it from my side. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Leo. Some pretty convincing numbers to end the presentation there. So I gave a question to the other speakers. So you mentioned something about promo codes and scratch cards, like useful friction, right? As you named it there. To me, it sounds kind of a little bit counterintuitive if the goal is fast conversion, So you touched on it, but could you expand a little bit, like why does that work for fast conversions as well?
Yeah, so I would say that in Web 2 App funnels, as you might know, overall, most of them are quite long. You have many screens. Some of them like reach hundreds of screens, right? So that's quite a lot. And I would say in that funnel, the goal isn't necessarily the speed, but it's the intent. Users, they don't abandon long funnels, as a lot of people might think that, oh, it's too long, they will just drop off on the next screen. No, they abandon the boring ones. And the ones that are not engaging, maybe not hitting that value proposition mentioned in the creative. And that's where gamification can definitely help, especially towards the end of the funnel when, the user already invested quite a lot of time. They're interested, and there we hit them with some kind of interactive element, variable, like it creates a variable reward. and the psychological ownership as well. They know that they're sort of did something to earn something, and when they hit the paywall, they see that that offer sort of was personalized for them. They did something also to earn it, and well, it's been proven with quite a few tests that we're constantly running, and it does make a difference when you don't just give the offer, but you make the user earn it, and you present it in a kind of like personalized way as well, that it's offer that's been just for you. And what we do sometimes is actually personalizing it, so it's not like every single user is going to get like the same thing. So we always try to match it to the pain of the user or to the goal of the user. And through the use of this gamification, it helps us to get the user to the paywall and make the offer irresistible.
Yeah, all about that paywall, right? Yeah, great.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Thank you. So okay, that wraps up the main discussion. We can move on to the Q&A section. So we already have a few questions there. Christian, I think the first question was for you. So you mentioned something about algorithmic changes. I think you kind of mentioned them in a broader sense, but we have a question. Can I ask what those algorithmic changes Christian mentioned are? I don't know if do you have any examples since you mentioned. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's really nothing new. I think it's been the trend since a few months ago already, and it's the fact like whereas before we were doing just pure volume just for the sake of doing volume and to try as many videos as possible. The changes that have been happening in the platform are intended for you to be a lot more specific with the creative in terms of who you're actually targeting. So these changes are actually forcing advertisers to not only do volume testing but more angle testing, because you're now going first to micro niches, and then based on the performance from those micro niches of that specific video, the algorithm is going to pretty much decide whether to really push it or to just not push it, right? So these changes are now forcing advertisers to really plan for a more diverse type of approach instead of just a sheer amount of volume. And it's all about creative being pretty much the new targeting, right? So the algorithm, based on what the creative is talking about and who is intended to, is going to decide who to show it to. And if you're showing the same creative to the same audience over and over again, you're just basically going to encounter a heavy fatigue and not going to be able to scale at all. So those are the main changes that have been happening since since quite some time ago and up until now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. Thank you. So Leo, this one popped up during your presentation, but I think each one of you can try to crack this. So basically the question is how to know which part of the creative to adjust for the funnel. So that was kind of in context of the FunnelFox, but I think everyone can kind of chime in here probably.
Sure. So I would say those could be slightly different approaches. You can either try to adapt funnel to the creative or creative to the funnel. Most of the times, I would say that if we see that some of the creatives are performing strongly and we see that, okay, this narrative is really like trending right now, so only then I would say we start building the customized funnel, right? So we wouldn't necessarily change the creative itself after we had some insights about the funnel performance. So most of the times it would be the other way around. So we would find a trending creative, we can test it, and then if we see that, okay, there is that it looks quite promising, and then we can definitely like fix the funnel itself and customize it. So I can answer it in reverse. And what would you do in the funnel itself? So I would say the main thing is to really work on that landing page, as I mentioned. I think this is really the biggest driver, right? Because you can lose a lot of users there. So make sure that the storytelling is really tight there. It's not only about the words used, it also could be about the visuals, the colors. If you're using any images, they also should hopefully match what was in the creative, at least a similar vibe. But then don't stop there. Think about the questions. So you can, again, like let's say transition screens that we have in the funnel. Those are not questions. Those are just some reinforcement screens, some personalized feedback. So again, use the words from the narrative. If it's like a military workout, mention it somehow. Don't just say like with this weight loss program, mention that it's like specifically, I don't know, for men over 50 who, etc., etc. So before building the funnel, lay out all of your creatives, look at them, find some keywords, find some key concepts that are used there, then go through your funnel and make sure that the beginning, the body of the funnel, and then the paywall, they portray the same idea. And we do see quite an increase when we have like a generic funnel, for example, and there's nothing personalized. We can see like performance is doing quite okay, but then when we start looking closely at the creatives and adapting the funnel, we can see definitely the conversion rates going up. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know if I answered exactly what was what's needed, but yeah, hopefully it helps as well.
That's definitely that's a good point, because there are many things that you can look at to see what actually needs to change. So you can actually change like the video itself, or you can also just change completely the angle of what you're trying to communicate. And I think there are some metrics that are often overlooked. Like for example, the first time impression ratio metrics, which is a silent killer, in my opinion. It's basically the number of new people that you're reaching. Instead of looking at CTR, you're looking at the new people that are being reached and the total impressions. And if your first time impression ratio is actually dropping and the frequency climbs or stays the same, we're basically annoying that user with the same messaging over and over and over again. So more than changing a specific aspect of that specific creative or going into a round of iterations or something like that, we should just change completely the angle and try a different approach altogether. Of course, it has to match the funnel as well, as you're saying, Leo. But we also have to change maybe the motivation for why that person should download the app or go through all the steps of the funnel as well. So really looking at those specific metrics can tell you if you need to change a specific part of the creative itself, or if you just need to change the psychographic angle completely and test different angles.
Mm-hmm. I was just trying to lower the amount of variables, right? Somehow. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we have a question. I don't know, maybe this is more for Seva, but let's see, anyone can obviously take a stab at it. So how do you differentiate between creative fatigue that's worth fixing, for example, refresh the hook, test new angle, versus creative fatigue that signals deeper problems with the offer or audience match? It's basically like, how do you kind of see which signal, where's the problem, right? It's kind of a broad question, I guess, but I don't know. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Seva, just in case you're on mute.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I think so. You're working hard. You're launching new creatives. You're adjusting your funnel. You're looking at metrics. You're trying to improve it. If your metrics are growing, that like just continue what you're doing. That's easy. But if it's not growing, this is when it becomes a question. Should I continue the thing I'm doing just slightly differently, or should I just start doing like more aggressive experiments, changing funnels, changing targetings, changing, uh, looking for something completely new. And it's actually it's more a like psychological question, because you look at numbers and you're like, oh, that yesterday was not as good as the day before. Maybe the system starts to break and we need to change everything. Uh, so the way to answer it is to, um, I would do it like this. I would look at the trend and maybe even, or maybe even just ask my agents. Sorry, in the last like 4 or 5 months, that becomes my default answer to anything in life. I would ask an agent like, hey, go like see what check the trends. If we're launching new creatives and new ads, is it the trend going down or up, or is it flat? What's really going on? And not on average, but for example, with new creatives or with new um, hooks or with new audiences we're testing. Like try to clear out um, experimentation, experimental changes and launches and segments, and just look at the core audience, core campaigns, core creatives, what's going on with those. So once you clear things, then you see, okay, if it's growing or it's flat, but you're happy with that, like that's fine. Continue doing more of what you do. If the trend is negative, then it's time to make more aggressive changes, and you can be like more confident about those decisions and less worry like, am I doing the right thing, when you have a clear answer from your own data. You already have all that data. It's just it's all about like asking the right question.
Guys, any additions? Nope. Okay, cool.
I would add one more thing. Um, I see marketers, media buyers often have a strong bias. Like maybe they change something in the creatives, in the messaging, in the offer, but they think their funnel stopped working, like because the conversion rate drops. But the true reason was with the creatives change, or vice versa. Maybe you're doing great work with creatives and ad management, but you change something in your funnel, or in your offer or pricing that killed conversion. So instead of asking the question like, um, mm, what's worth fixing in general, I would check for dependencies between different parts of your user acquisition funnel, from ads and what's going on there to actual funnels, onboarding screens, and so on. And you can actually ask those questions. Look at your dashboards or ask your agents to see what what caused the change in overall performance, which part of that. And it's not obvious when you just go with your mm, gut feeling about like uh, mm, what influenced what.
Okay. Seva, I think we have the next question for you as well, more from the account management, I guess, side kind of. But you said to stop the holy wars and just backtest it. But in my team, even when we show the data, people still argue my market is different, the account is special. How do you get the team to actually trust the agent's recommendation over their own, personal experience?
I just ask what you're suggesting. Do you suggest to uh, mm, have multiple ads in the same ad set, or multiple creatives in the same ad set, or one? Do you suggest stopping earlier or like giving more time and for algorithms to fix itself. When when a person suggests specific strategy, I would just show them, okay, with your strategy, this is exactly what would happen on your special account, in your market, in like literally in your account. You would I don't spend this much money on things that already stopped working, or you would kill this amount of winning creatives and lose this percentage of revenue. And when they look at their own account, their own creatives, their own metrics, they we either see that they were right, because like somebody on the team is right, probably, or it's easier to change your mind, like, okay, maybe that's not the right approach. Maybe we would adjust it slightly to get more winners, to stop bleeding money on inefficient things, and so on. So just, and not on average, like in my presentation, I showed you like average metrics. Literally show specific creatives. You would kill those 10 winners. Do you want to do that? And that helps to ground everyone in their data and their real truth.
For sure. Okay. Last few seconds to type in any of your questions. But I think if we're good, it's probably a good place to wrap this up, right? So I guess the key takeaway is throughout the entire funnel, right? Creative monitoring and post-click, they have to all work together. And usually, like, the weakest layer is where things start leaking. So it's a matter of finding that error or that leak and correcting it, right? Looking at it as a part of the whole system, not just creative, not just post-click and so on. So yeah, huge thanks to everyone who joined, especially to our speakers, of course, for sharing their insights today. I will send you the recording after and some extra materials. So yeah, thanks again, everyone, for spending the time with us today, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.